Welcome to Cerulean Arts. Tonight we're speaking with Anthony Ciambella in conjunction with his Cerulean Arts Collective Exhibition, which is on view through November 5th, 2023. Hello, Anthony.
Good evening. How you doing, everybody?
All right, I'm going to spotlight Tina's video. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and this exhibition.
Well, I've been an artist my whole life. I think this is my fourth or fifth exhibition at Cerulean. Thank you, guys. Been fortunate with it there.
Going back quite a few years, actually.
Pardon me?
Going back
11 years. Yeah, going back quite a ways. I'm sort of all over the place with my work. I work in a lot of different media, and these particular things are with polymer clay, like Sculpey or Fimo or whatever, product du jour is. And it's just a series of individuals. I'm interested in the serpent, which has been part of my work for 30 years or more. And in this particular show, I titled it In the Garden, referring to Eden. And even as a child, the idea of a talking snake really got to me, and I started reading a little bit more Genesis and was thinking about why Adam was not approached, or maybe he was, but Eve was the one who took the fall for it. And the serpent said, it's not going to kill you, or ye surely shall not die, pertaining to the forbidden fruit, which was, she bit that, and of course it flexed that beautiful mind that humans have into what intelligence we have today. So a lot of it is based on that. So here's some early ones of In the Garden, and I like night scenes for the most part. So I put them all on black backgrounds. This is colored clay, or clay that I have painted. I embellish it with different type of glass beads and other odds and ends. Where they're showing up nice and clear. And they're all small. I wanted to, these are like studies. I would really like to do these life size if I could find an oven big enough to get a pizza oven and put the clay in, or so, at least 18 inches. I think the depth of my oven is 22 inches. So eventually I'll be doing them large like this. And
when you've worked in a variety of media over the years.
Oh man, yeah, I can't think of. I haven't been that productive in woods, a variety of woods or metals or stone, but I like a lot of objects that you can find. I like clay that you can add to. These you can fire and reduce. You carve into them, so it has a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of avenue to invention. Handles paint very well. You can, like I said, carve it. You can drill into it. You can put screws in it and hang it up.
So when you received your training at the Pennsylvania Academy?
At the Academy, yeah. I started there in 1967 for years of night school, so I could afford. But I started full-time in 1970 and then got a job there as a janitor in a school store. Then ended up in conservation and, went back to school for chemistry and math and a few other things, and stuck with that at the Academy to 86, then went private, and I've been teaching since 86 at the Academy, and of course at Cerulean, doing classes, a little more intimate and at Cerulean Arts. And at school is where I started experimenting with a lot of stuff, reading more and more about different materials and how they interact with each other, their compatibilities, and different problems you can occur with it. I like this piece in particular is the offering. I think it's Adam giving the apple back to the snake. When he was questioned, he said Eve gave it to me, and he said the snake gave it to me. It's like they're passing the buck and shifting blame that far back. But I like the idea that that is a possibility. I mean, I don't know, even though the Bible's divine and inspired, they could have left a chapter out here and there, like in the New Testament. So these are smaller little spirits like angels, and again they got the fertility, the snake coming at it, which is I guess the creative life force, with fertility. And these are about 4 by 4 inches. I really enjoyed making small ones like this. I just keep making them and have an inventory of drawings. But I like to see these about 18 or 20 inches tall. Where I can
So
really
Anthony, you draw your source from a variety of cultural
Oh
sources.
yeah. There's one of everything in here, from got Inuit Eskimo down to Plains Indians, right up to Etruscan, early Italian art. I draw from Egypt, uh, antiquity, a lot of religious subject matter. The symbolism in there, sometimes I just get it confused. I'll put Buddhism in with Christianity and Judeo beliefs and all that stuff.
So what is it that attracts you about other cultures?
Uh, Not being part of it is one of them. I'm so used to whatever I am growing up, wherever I did, and everybody's the same. Although America's becoming such a melting pot now that I can walk through the streets of Philadelphia and see a variety of cultures and faiths and things like that. But I've always been drawn to it. I think my introduction was early National Geographics when I was a kid. Looking at those things and filled with wonder and awe. To think that I wish I could do that. That was then. Now I wouldn't anything. I'm a creature of comfort at this point. I don't want to get involved with that other stuff. So this is, another type of gifted. I call this the gifted one. It's the idea that you are coming and going at the same time with your totem, your snake spirit, your life force in there.
So in a lot of the figures and the forms, they are consistent through your work, through paintings and
Oh, going back to the 70s, yeah. It's
so
amazing when I look at it, and it's not out of my system yet.
so how did you get to this form, and what is it about it that
I don't know. I don't know if it was like a personal rebellion when I started. Of course, I wanted to do those academic renderings. I was, really like French painters, Barbizon painters, and earlier Aikens at the Academy, any of the old masters. I was really involved with doing that. And rather than I did the big muscular stuff drawing, but I like the Northern European paintings where the people are a little thinner, leaner. There's a different feeling to it. So a lot of that comes into it. Then devotional pieces like the Book of Hours or any of the religious iconography from, faith-based civilizations or nature-based civilizations that have all these little small things and amulets and whatnot. So I really like small work. I like doing these things. Yeah, some of them are three-dimensional like that. The painting technique on these things I got right from my studies in European painting. They're all layered, they're glazes. Some of these have 5 and 6 layers of paint on them, very thinly applied and stippled.
is it acrylic or oil?
Acrylic, yeah, this is acrylic. In this case, these are acrylics. I've done a lot in oils as well. And I have a whole bunch of PVA paint that I'd like to work with, but I'm not confident with it enough to try it on these things.
What's PVA paint?
Let me see. Latex paint
Yes.
and acrylic paint. Acrylic's made with acrylic. Latex is made with vinyl.
Oh, okay.
With a PVA, I mean, yeah. So there are like house paints are PVA paint, but you can buy it in other forms in there. So back to some of these things glow in the dark, like the light parts. It might be the head in one piece or a snake in the other piece, the dots or spots. So these are all finished pieces that glow in the dark. We just passed the whole series that I call Desire, the same old story of desire. And then then suddenly the kiss, which changes everything and gets you on that trajectory that you'll never know what's going to happen. So I'm glad that on the angles like that, you get to see that's about 2 inches deep. It's fairly light. I put them directly, painted the frame and included the whole object as one surface rather than have it installed into a frame.
And do you work the clay with your
My hands, I
or
have a series of, in this case, it's all maybe a rolling pin. And then I have a couple tools for texture that I dig into it and do things. I guess you can, yeah, it's really cool. I think those stars light up. They're the star thieves. So and at night, when you turn the lights out, you'll just see this spot pattern there coming off. And it's some, undetermined or unidentified star constellation. I'm sure if you held it up against the heavens, you would find something. So the color is very subtle. You can see in this one's red. I think the other one's slightly blue. These all have matte finishes on them. I tried some with the liquid glass to make it high gloss to look like glass, and I'm unhappy with them. I painted them all with matte varnish, covered them with matte varnish again.
So Anthony, the next session of your class starts in November.
Couple weeks, yeah.
And it's mixed media, collage, and assembly.
Collage,
So
yeah.
you cover this kind of-
Whatever people want to work with. I mean, I'll work with them if they're out like to work in clay, or if they want cutout papers, textile fabric, sewing. I don't know a lot about sewing on a machine, and I don't really know my stitches, but things like that, different adhesives you can stick them to. But I want to try some more of those paintings that I poured paint to get those.
Oh yes, poured acrylic.
I want to do that on these clay pieces.
So people can bring their own ideas, and you'll help.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Realize
the last several times that I ran the class, we were doing 4 different things, which is easy enough because the class is intimate and everybody learns from everybody else's process, and you can integrate somebody's technique into your work at the same time.
Yeah, the classes are small, so
yeah,
6 people or less.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer it that way. I've taught in those big classrooms. When I did my chemistry, I did smaller. I mean, I couldn't sit in an auditorium with 300 people. I don't learn that way. So lecture hall. So I went to smaller classes in the evening school to do it. So this is kind of the expulsion where they have to leave the garden. Some of these are on top of paintings that I discarded. I have a row. Well, you've been over the studio. I have this thing called Death Row, and it's all the work I don't like that I work over. I work over it. A series of the 3-dimensional mummies, I got a couple hundred paintings that I'm going to rework.
So just recycle your old stuff.
Oh, yeah. I have some of these I don't like so much. I'm going to tear them off the panel and put new stuff on. It's
So you're not precious about it. You'll just, if it doesn't work, just
doesn't
it out. And if you're
and
tired,
like most artists, I think do that. I do keep a couple things around that I really detest, and I leave it there right in front of me to remind me never to make that mistake again. There's some of the work I just don't like, but it's fun. I like being whimsical. I don't want to get too
there's a big element of humor in
I think in a lot of my work, if not in the titles that come onto it, I think this is something about being fancy or free will. You can see this clay, I dotted those freckles onto that onto the face, the head of it.
This is called the loose zone.
Yeah, loose zone. Yeah, we all go through a loose zone. We're not following a whole bunch of rules and whatever. Yeah, I have ideas now for these things coming in and out of the frame, like the serpent coming over the edge of the frame, and this figure running wild in fear. Like a jack in a box, when your head leaves your body, you discorporate, and some kind of elongated neck to it.
So do you think that understanding of traditional materials and techniques help you do
absolutely
things like this, that you can go
Yeah, I think it's critical that I taught it for 35 years, materials and techniques, and it's not just oil paint. I get all over the place. And when I get into these modern materials, sometimes, to draw with silicone and to paint acrylic, anything like you would use in your house. I don't know how permanent it is, You know, it says right on the tube, good for 20 years. So I don't know if that means to prevent leaks or using your art. This is one of my pregnant series here. The one character on the right is pregnant, so a lot of you notice none of them have gender. I kind of like the idea of keeping things without gender, and it could just be a swollen tummy, but I consider it pregnant.
This is called Keep It Hidden.
Keep it hidden. Yeah, about you know, you don't want, well, we all have secrets, and sometimes pregnancy is a secret
For a while.
for a while, right? You got to keep it hidden. Dress baggy. And this is Uriel. This is the this saint, I mean, the angel with the fiery sword that threw those two kids out of paradise. That's another thing. I mean, they were the only ones of their kind, no rule book, you know, just having fun. And
right.
so, in fact, some of those flames coming out the side of that blue, that stuff there, those are from another piece I did about 15 years ago.
Oh, the
I recycled
spines.
Yeah, spines, yeah. And then the final piece, I was going for something that looks jade-like. I like all the flaws in there. It's not solid fabric. It's kind of hard to see on that. It's kind of speckled in there. So when the light hits it right. And some of these, it's too thick, but some of the transparent things I painted GID, glow in dark paint on the back. So sometimes you'll see a subtle light that dissipates in a couple of minutes. Not all the time.
Well, thanks so much, Anthony.
Yeah, it's
a great show.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if anybody's interested in signing up for Anthony's class, you can do that on the Cerulean Arts website.
Right.
Just ceruleanarts.com and go to the studio page.
Yeah, and you can work with just about anything. Some of the toxic stuff, like strong varnishes and heavy duty outdoor paint, we don't use in the classroom. So, but just about anything else, some, you know, more adhesives that don't, it's not like epoxy adhesives or things like that, but anything else. I'm open to all things.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Anthony.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.